Oh, Elon's is back in spotlight
The Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade has been
for good
criticised for
reason,
its
though.
poor efforts in supporting stranded Australians in Israel. Some have labelled DFAT's communication shambolic after an evacuation email was sent out which contained an incorrect link.
Oh, who the heck
Adam,
is?
it's a worrying time for Australians.
Don't I don't I don't understand that. Why would you send him an incorrect link? Don't you got to double and triple check those links, especially if there's other people's lives in the line.
Stranded in
I
the
don't know.
region and their families back home. The last thing you need is emails from DFAT with links that don't work.
Yeah, look, it's one of the largest departments, I understand, in Canberra, when you include all the staff around the world. So you would think that they could get that right. But, yeah, look, it's actually surprised me, to be honest, that there were so many Australians there in the first place. I don't know what was going on with advisories there. I've got friends there, you've got friends there who've been in bunkers. And they were there during a pretty volatile, dangerous time. So let's hope everything's fine. But let's also hope that they can get out quickly, because it has been a fiasco.
Now, we will have more on the impact of this conflict on energy markets with Professor Ian Plimer, but Israel has now set its sights beyond...
I don't like to cover that, the war and all that, because I don't know, because YouTube, sometimes they don't like that. They don't like that algorithm. The algorithm don't like that, war and all that stuff. So I don't know. I might cover the Iran and Israel once in a while, but
Iran's nuclear facilities by launching attacks on major gas and oil sites, including some of the largest in the world. Meanwhile, there are reports that Israel had communicated to Donald Trump a plan to kill Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which the US president opposed, leading to the plan not being executed. Adam, Donald Trump does not want the US heavily involved in this conflict. He clearly stands with Israel. He condones what's happening, but he knows his supporters, a sizable number of them, do not want America involved in another war.
No, look, it's a very difficult needle to thread for him at the moment, because he certainly does support Israel. That is very clear. But as you point out, I would say probably more than half of the Trump base are very anti-war. There's the old Reagan-Bush side, but that's probably about a third of the party now, I would say.
Yeah, the war hawks.
Reagan and Bush side, they're not anti-war, man.
Well, it's much greater in the mainstream media than it is amongst the ordinary supporters. They are really anti-war, and I can understand why. There's been a lot of wars, in the last 20 years or so America's been involved in, which have not gone well. So let's just see what happens.
Trump distancing himself from strikes. I'm a Trump supporter, in many ways, but I think that's what he's trying to do, is to not to be the hawkish or the war kind of a like Bush, like, because Trump did not like Bush when he went to Iraq and Afghanistan and all that. Trump thought that there could have been, negotiations could have been done, things like, because he's a businessman, and that's what he's trying to do with Iran. That's what he's trying to do with Iran. I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do? Just buy some time? I think Iran was going to do, they can negotiate. I'm sure they'll negotiate. Knowing, how the America's politic works, they can just sit it out and it's like, Trump will only going to be here for 4 years. We can sit it out. In the meantime, we can backstab them again, go around behind their back, because that's what they did. This is what they did. This is why they're actually, I would say maybe 80 to 90%, 80 to 90% acquiring the nuclear warheads. That's what the Israel and all of them are saying, because they have spies inside. You know what I mean? I mean, they're so good in spying Mossad that they're actually able to build drones inside Iran, inside a tunnel. And with Trump, he's gonna. I mean, Trump already gave him what, 60, 90 days? Gave Iran 60, 90 days. But they have no. Iran will not listen to Trump. Will not listen to America. As a matter of fact, Iran. I think not Iran, but Russia was trying to. Putin was trying to put something together to maybe just Putin. Putin. When when Putin says, "Hey guys, hold on a second," and you know that you have a problem. But that's what Trump is doing right now. So he can say, "You know what? I did what I could. Save Iran." But and there's nothing I can do. He's just like Pontius Pilate's kind of thing. Right? My hands are not in there with that. We're not with Israel. He's not with Israel. I don't know who's some of this conservative like Candace Owens or something saying something like like that Israel is the puppet. Oh no, the United States is a puppet of Israel. She was saying that you can skip whatever Trump is saying when it comes to Israel. Just listen to Netanyahu because Trump is a puppet. She's wrong on that. She's wrong. It's grossly, wrongly. Is that even the right word? But Iran is finding out. They're finding out. So what needs to happen is the people of Iran, they need to stand up, rise up against their government, the regime change. That's what needs to happen in Iran. Somebody, a prominent person that's in Iran, that person needs to lead those people to rise up. Because, the time is today. Because once you do that, you show up. Once you do that and say, I'm going to, I have people behind me. Israel and the West will back you up on that regime change. And now Israel wants to, unalive that the supreme leader, which they can, and he could, and they would. He's probably in hiding somewhere. Especially in that, they need to rise up. But anyway, enough of that. But anyway, I thought we were going to talk about Elon Musk here.
I mean, I think Israel, I'm no military expert, but certainly Israel has...
We are not.
What they call escalatory dominance. Basically, it's going to win. And that's even without the US, I think, because ultimately it's got more missiles, it's got more planes. And of course, it probably has nuclear weapons too, which Iran knows. And in a very extreme case, that's a major threat.
Absolutely. And it's going to also be...
The thing is, we all know that the Iran don't have that. Don't have the nuclear warheads or anything like that, because they would have done that. I can guarantee you that once they were able to build just one nuclear warhead, they would probably send that to Israel, like the day off, fresh out of the oven. Once they build that, they will send that to Israel right away. And we all know they don't have it. Now, Israel, if they have, well, of course, they have them. They have their nuclear warhead. What I'm saying is that's the very last, because we all know that if Israel uses that, they become the ultimate bad guy when they use that with nuclear warheads to do to Iran. They become the ultimate bad guy.
Fascinating to see whether
the villain.
they stop at Iran not being able to create or develop a nuclear weapon, or whether they're going to push ahead for regime change. Because
Well, that's the best outcome, right? But it has to happen organically, right? It has to. The
Yeah.
regime has to collapse, right, of its own accord. That would be the wonderful outcome.
and that would have to be led by the Iranian people. And on that, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service is now active in Iran.
this is
Elon
a-
Musk made that happen after the Iranian regime imposed nationwide internet restrictions. Adam, hugely
Wow.
important for the Iranian people. You cannot have a revolution, you cannot overthrow that regime with internet
do you block
being
that?
cut throughout the country.
How do you block that? I'm sure the Iranian government, they'll have some way to block that.
So this is really a way from the Iranian people to stay connected and perhaps have a shot at having nationwide protests. But as we have seen in the past, the Iranian regime is absolutely brutal
It is brutal.
in clamping down on those protests. Do you expect to see that happen?
Well, look, I mean, I hope so. I just checked before I came on the show, but GDP per person has fallen by 50% there in just 10 years in Iran. So, I mean, how could it be a popular regime? It must be hated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very poor country. And yet,
That means whatever Obama gave them, whatever money that Obama gave them, and there was pallets of them, it went to the weapon. It went to, building weapons, building that warheads.
it should be very rich.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
And I can guarantee you that Iran probably tried asking Russia for nuclear warheads, or North Korea. I don't know if they have a relation with North Korea. I'm pretty sure they do. But either side probably said, "Wait a minute, we don't want that. We don't want to be responsible for you guys sending nuclear rockets to Israel." I guarantee you that. Putin and all them probably stay away from that. We don't want Israel to be to be in the bad side.
Huge. It's got 90 million people. It's filled with resources. It's got beautiful mountains, rivers. There's no reason why it should be so poor. So let's hope that they can use Starlink to coordinate.
Yeah.
And just on Elon Musk, I mean, he's a bit of a hero here, really. He's criticised for this and that, but look, he's turned on these beams, probably at great cost to himself, I imagine. And who knows? Maybe it will work. Maybe it will see the end of the regime.
Well, I can only hope so. But we have seen some footage come out of Iran, which is incredible to see the Iranian people celebrating the attacks against the regime, even though obviously innocent people have died in these attacks. They want to see the end of the mullah's reign. They've been in power now of more than 45 years. The Department of Foreign...
Yeah, more than that. Yeah, needs a regime change. Since once that, it's just not that. Okay, regime change. Yeah, that's all good and all that, but you need ideology change. You have to change the way they think. I mean, you can, because it's been 45 years. You got parents and all of that have this mindset that we ought to kill, we ought to unalive Israel and death to America and all of that. So, and their kids, the kids that grew up on that, the belief system is going to change. It's going to take more than that. It's going to take more of the gene change, more kind of a ideology change. You know what I mean? So, all right, that's it for now. Keep it here.